My gosh, it's really hard to pick a favorite shot in a film because honestly, like it's like picking a favorite child. And I like it when a shot has, it feels like you got really lucky and it has this beauty to it, but it feels like a very fortunate thing that happened that could never be recreated. The way we made that film is we had our two main actors and then everybody else in that movie were just real people going about their lives to some extent in the middle of Central America. And there was a shot where Whitney just sits down and they're trying to get a ferry to escape, get back to America, and she's just, everyone's exhausted because they really are exhausted because we're really doing this journey for real. And I was just looking for something quite innocent, and then there was this little cute little kid, and just went and got this beautiful shot of her. And then I thought, you know, because I was doing the visual effects myself as well, it was like, oh, I need to somehow put this kid in the world of our movie. So maybe when she gives just the right look, I'll go off her and I'll pull focus onto the background, and then I'll just stick something in there on the computer later. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll figure it out later. And that was one of those things because it wasn't a child actor. It didn't feel contrived. Basically, the whole movie, we kind of operated like that. And all these little things came to us because we were open to it. And we would then just try and then figure out how to make that look like it was in this sci-fi world. And so there's all these shots in that film where someone's doing something quite magical and I just go away. And it's like a brave choice, but you do it enough and it's fine. Like the first half of Godzilla is this like build, this sort of really slow burn build to the big reveal of Godzilla. And it ended up being the day one of the whole shoot. It wasn't an airport, it was actually a convention center in Vancouver. And on day one, it was a very intimidating thing because I'd shot this tiny movie with like, you know, 10 of us from my first film. And then suddenly I was going on to a big Hollywood film and I decided to walk from where I lived to the convention center. And as I started getting closer and closer to it, there was trucks, another truck, another truck, another truck. There was like hundreds of trucks. It looked like there was like a truck convention going on. It was all for our film. And I was like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? We did that shot where it tracks along and everyone reacts. Plane crashes and it smashes into another plane and then into another plane and they ignite each other in this big like fireball chain reaction. And we shot it with all, you know, basically everyone in the terminal kind of watching this through the window. So it felt like looking at an aquarium or something of fire. And I always get a thrill in the cinema when that got played because everyone was so like, I just want to see him, just show Godzilla. That then suddenly when you have that little handing to his, and then the foot stomps down, it feels like, okay, here we go. And so it's like a really climactic tease to the shot that then revealed it. I mean, it was really hard task to do a Star Wars film because I believe George did it perfectly with the original trilogy.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think it's weird, it wasn't the best shot necessarily on paper or visually, but it always got a bit of a, wow. Or people will say to you, oh, that was a really cool shot. But it was when the Death Star does like its first test on Jeddah and it explodes. And there's this one little moment of beauty I wanted at the end of it all, where there's just like, you know, like a crown of a splash from the earth going up like this, and it's just stretching up. And I asked Ben Mendelsohn when we were doing some takes, can you look at it? Imagine like the atomic bomb tests, like Oppenheimer or something. Can you just look at it? And it's so beautiful, you want to cry, sort of thing. And then we improvised a few things, I think. And on one of them, he just was like, he muttered something like, it's beautiful. And so weirdly, everyone goes, oh, that's a beautiful shot. But I think half of that is because of what Ben's doing. And I think that's what's super fascinating about cinema is when it can take you on a journey through someone else's perspective and you get to see something from another point of view, you know, sometimes not realizing it. And I think that's the most important thing about storytelling is when, you know, you've got what you think the world is like, and then you get to see it a different way, and it always stays with you, and it hopefully makes you more empathetic.
I want to see about this.
One of the things we really wanted to do in that movie was film it differently as well. So we had, you know, a more classically sized crew for the big set piece stuff, but then we downsized to like this tiny scale thing. There was just a few of us and we went to like Cambodia and Nepal and Indonesia, and that was some of my favorite stuff that's in the film that we didn't try to control. We just filmed real people in villages, knowing later they would become robots. And I think there's a lot of great shots that I'm really proud of. And it's just this woman, old lady, she's got some seeds and she's just sifting through them. And it's a beautiful artistic shot, but then we make her into a robot. So it's a robot hand just like sifting through these seeds. And it's the sort of thing that would never ever get into a sci-fi movie like a blockbuster. It would hit the cutting room floor on day 2, you know. And I was fighting for it the whole way through the film, going, no, we're putting this in the movie because it is for the exact reason that no one else would want it in a film, because it's like such a sort of indulgent artistic thing. And so whenever that pops up, I feel like, yes, you know, we got it.
We're gonna raise a child.
I think the thing that I was most excited about this movie was that, you know, I read this screenplay that they sent and it was developed by Steven Spielberg and it was just full of his DNA, you know. I was like, I've always wanted to, you know, Spielberg's the reason I want to be a director. And so like you flick through this thing, you're like, I would be allowed to do this? Come on! Like, I don't think you ever sit down, well, you sort of do. Yeah, you do sort of sit down and say, let's try and think, what's an iconic image, you know? But you never think you're going to get an iconic image ever in a film. But there's one image I really like, this visual of Mahershala in his military gear in a real mangrove swamp in the middle of Thailand at night with a flare and this giant thing. Like, to me, it was an embarrassment of riches the night we shot that. So any of the shots in that sequence, I love when they turn up. There's so many, it's so many good shots. I'm gonna give that accolade from me to a filmmaker that doesn't get mentioned as much, but it'd probably be from a film called Baraka. I think every single shot in that movie is phenomenal, but I'd probably go for the monkey falling asleep in the water. If you ever see it, or if you get hold of it, there's this shot of a monkey. It's right at the beginning of the film, and it's in the hot springs, I think in Japan, and it looks like it's starting to dream, and it just slowly starts to fall asleep, and there's snow in the background, and it's a real monkey really doing it, a little steam coming off, and then when it finally closes its eyes, this just solar eclipse happens, and the title for the film, and it's just like, it's like if you ever make a film that good, you can just die happy.